Hi everyone. In this video, I'll go over one problem from homework section 2.2, and I want to show you how to use StatCrunch to answer the questions a lot faster, and hopefully you'll find this very useful. Here is the problem. The Affordable Care Act created a marketplace for individuals to purchase health care plans. In 2014, the premiums for a random sample of 30 to 27 years old who signed up for the bronze level health insurance are given in the table below. And here is where the information comes from. Create a frequency distribution and the relative frequency distribution using 5 classes. We have the data given in this table, and all we have to do is create a frequency distribution, and this is what the frequency distribution is. We will need to fill in these blanks. And the relative frequency distribution, you have to add this extra column, okay? They give us the histograms corresponding. The histogram, you have actually 4 different choices to pick from. We will do all of this in Excel, and we will answer the questions a lot faster. So what I will need to do first is try to answer the first part until I get to do some calculations. So here it is. Since data were collected for, and we're talking about 1, and we're talking about quantitative variable, the variable is the premiums for a random sample of 30 to 27 years old. So these are the premiums, and this you all see are numerical values. The correct graph to display this information will be a histogram. So we will actually have to pick the correct histogram from the choices that we have down here. Okay. Until then, use the formula to find the class width. You know, the class width is very important. It's maximum minus minimum, and is divided by how many classes we want. And again, a very important thing when you find the width is to round up to the next whole number. So in order to do that, I'm expecting the data, and I see that this is not in order. So what I will do first, I will try to put this in order. I want to make sure I copy everything. So I will copy, right click and copy. In StatCrunch, I have opened a file right here in StatCrunch, and I will simply right click here. And if right click doesn't work, it seems that it doesn't work, I will just do Control V. You know, Control C, you copy information, Control V, you paste the information. So here is my data. I want to make sure I copied 30 values, and it seems that I did. Okay, from 1 to 30 under variable 1 column. And what I need first, because the formula is right here, class width maximum minus minimum divided by the number of classes. What I need first will be to find the maximum and the minimum. And then I know for this problem, the number of classes, oops, I have to move this up. The number of classes is right here, 5. So I'll go back to StatCrunch, and I will go to stats and find summary statistics for my column. Well, you can find many different summary statistics here for the column where we have the data, which is variable 1, but I'm interested only on max and minimum. And scrolling down, well, I will just focus on this, and I will click on Shift, and I will just need these 2 pieces. I don't need anything else. I'll say compute, and right here I'll have a window that displays this information. Okay, so what I will do next, I will take a calculator, and I have my calculator right here, and do the calculations. The formula again is 200 19, that seems to be the maximum, minus 114, that's the minimum. And I need to divide this by 5 because that's how many classes. So the answer is 21. Okay. So 219 minus 114. I'll go back to my problem. Seems that the answer is 21. Now, here is the thing. Round up to the next whole number. It's a very important information. Our answer was 21. So what we need to type in here will be 22. Round up to the next number. If it's 21.01, you need to type in 22. If it's 21.75, you need to type in 22. Even if it's 21, an integer, you will need to round to the next whole number. Now, how can I check that this is the correct answer? That's a little bit tricky, right? I can go down here and see if the difference between this lower class limit and the next lower class limit is the class width. So if I take my calculator to check that, I will do 135.5 and I'll subtract from it 113.5. And the answer is indeed 22. Okay, so we are fine with that information. This is correct. And I will actually use, well, I can keep adding 22 to get to the next class, or I can just keep an eye on this right here, right? And I know that my first class starts from 113.5, goes up to 135.5. Those are class boundaries. And then again from 135.5, the next one will be, and it's right here, 157. Again, if you keep adding 22, you will get the same numbers. Now from 157.5 to 179.5, and from 179.5 to 201. And from 201.5 to 223. I will quickly look at these numbers. I want to make sure don't make mistakes, because if we do, then we will have to redo the problem and it means more time. As long as we understand what we are doing, we should not do careless mistakes. And now, what is the frequency? Well, here is where I will take StatCrunch and I will, don't need this anymore, I will create a frequency distribution. Actually, I will create a histogram. Okay, I don't really need the frequency distribution. From the histogram, I can read the frequency. So here is the histogram for the data in the first column, which is bar 1. And what I need a type, and because I need to enter the frequencies in the frequency column, I'll just leave it as frequency. Start at, I know my my first class starts at 113.5, and then I know my class width is 22. So I will just say start at this, and what is the width? And I will say 22. Okay. And do I need a value above the bar? Yes, because that's where I have the frequency of each class. So when I compute, here is what I get. Here is my histogram. This histogram has all of the class boundaries on the bottom. And now these are the frequencies 5, 7, 9, 6, and 3. So what I can do from here, and this is what I want to do. Okay, I'll just try to put it in. I'm just trying to use different screens. here is my problem. And here is my histogram. So the frequency of the first class is 5. For the second class, I see a 7 right there on the top, right? That's why I checked that square in the instructions, because I wanted to see how many values I have in each one of those classes. Then I have a 6, and then I have a 3, and I'm done with this. Okay. Now I need a relative frequency. For the relative frequency, I can go back here and do the exact same thing, and there are different ways of writing down the relative frequency. You know what I will do? I'll just go back here and I'll just clear this. I'll just go back here and I'll do it again. Here is the histogram for my variable 1, where I have my data in this column. And the only thing I will do here, I'll just change this to relative frequency. This one starts again at 113.5. And my class width is 22. Okay. Do I need a value above the bar? Yes, because I need to see all of those in decimal form. So here I have my histogram for a relative frequency distribution. Right here on the y-axis, I have the relative frequency. Here I have my histogram for frequency. So just frequency. Why I need this information right now is because right here I have the relative frequency. Now keep in mind, they tell you how to write it down. You have to write it down to 3 decimal places. So in this case, I will enter 0.17 for the first class, 0.23. So 0.17 for the first class, 0.23, oops, for the second, and then 0.3, 0.2, and 0.1. And that's how I use StatCrunch to fill in this frequency distribution and then the relative frequency distribution. Now, all I need to do is identify which one of these is the histogram. And the histogram is right here. This is the frequency one. So this will be this one on my StatCrunch. So which one is the one that displays 5 values in the first class, 7 in the second, 9 in the third, 6 on the fourth, and 3 on the last class? If you check this carefully, you realize that the first one seems to accomplish that. Or maybe the third one. So the shape is this shape looks like the first or the third one, but it's more like the third one. I see a 5 right here. You have to just be careful and make sure you don't make mistakes. So I believe it's this one. And we are done. Let's submit and see what happens. This was your homework. And it seems that this was correct, but the relative frequency for the first two problems are incorrect. So let's go back and try to see why, because what we've seen on StatCrunch, it was 0.17. So I'm wondering if it's just a matter of, it should be just a matter of rounding. And StatCrunch rounded to 2 decimal places. That was the problem. And we're supposed to round to 3 decimal places. So I have a feeling that this was 1.6. A quick way to fix this will be to simply find the relative frequency using the calculator. Probably that's what I will do it at this point. I'll just say, okay, in my first class, so let's just clear this. My first class, I have 5 out of the total number of values, which are 30 values in my data. So this is what it was. So as I was saying, I thought this is a matter of rounding, and it is. You need 3 decimal places. So here we go. Okay. And for my second class, I have 7 values. So 7 divided by 30 is 0.233. 3 decimal places. So this was just a matter of rounding, which can be fixed. So don't panic. Something like this happens. I'm actually glad it did happen because I did show you how to fix it. And now everything looks good. And this is how you should use StatCrunch to solve a problem like this. You'll have the opportunity to use StatCrunch and hopefully will appreciate how well this can help. This works, and how important it is to know how to use this tool. Okay, have a good day. Bye.